We are on day 12 of 30 days of favor. I see that it's somebody's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Arms. Happy birthday to you, Arms. We wish you well. We wish you well. Happy 54th birthday. May God bless you. I'm sorry, I'm guessing your age. If I got it correct, I'm giving out prophecies tonight. Yeah. Day 2 for me. Day 2 for me, for you, that is good. That is good. By the way, we have a couple of sessions that are already uploaded on our YouTube from the series specifically, and tomorrow we're gonna continue to upload more of them. Mr. Masih Jose, HBD. HBD is wild. HBD. Oh, my brother, write the full one. HBD. Ha. You don't even want it to be happy. Like you just, that's what. HBD, my brother. We can do better than that. Hey. Happy birthday. There we go. That's good. All right. Let's get into the word. We don't know what that means. You HBD. Does it mean habadaba? We don't know. We have no idea. Anyway, let's get into the word. Tonight we're getting into the final day of our fasting and prayer series. But, of course, this was a series within a series. We are on day 12 of our 30 days of favor. And so far, people have been testifying. So far, people have been telling of the goodness of God. And we are grateful. We thank God. We thank God for the testimonies. We thank God for the growth. We thank God for breakthrough. Just before I came on here, when we opened the WhatsApp group where we're reading the book together, there's a WhatsApp group where we're reading this book together, and in that group, I shared with everyone on there and just said to them, listen, tonight, I wanted us to just celebrate the fact that this community here is growing, right? We are 11 minutes in and there are over 900 people, almost 1,000 people in here. And that is wild compared to where we were at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, we were, on a Friday night was different. Friday nights, it was me and like 4 people. It was me, Madam Yolanda, who else? Okay, not Bonginkosi. He was dancing on Friday night. Miss Lee SMR, okay, and Master Masejo as well, right? But it's good to see the growth. It is good to see progress. It is good to see how far we've come. Maybe it wasn't 4 people. It was like, about 97. But nonetheless, God is calling his people. God is reaching out to his people. And we're growing. We are being strengthened. And man, it's exciting. But I'm saying that to you to say that I had just said to everyone in that group that, listen, you've got to look for what God is doing. You have to look for what God is doing. I call it checking the pulse on your faith. Every now and then you have to check the pulse on your faith to see, is my faith really alive? And we see that in little things, little signs of breakthrough, right? Little signs of breakthrough. It's beautiful. And it reminds you that God is working. God is working. Your birthday today, happy birthday. It's not my birthday. It's not my birthday. My birthday. My birthday is next month, 5th of July. 5th of July. Everyone, everyone just, set it on your calendar and take off from work. Take off from work on that day. 5th of July is a very big day. Tell them at work that you're not coming in on the 5th of July because we're celebrating HBD and don't HBD me in advance. Oh, don't HBD me, don't habada me in advance. We're not gonna habada anything here. All right. So everybody just be prepared to take off from work on that day. If they refuse to give you leave, I authorized it. I authorized your leave. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. And tonight, we are wrapping up our prayer and fasting series. Right? We are wrapping up our prayer and fasting series. It is day 12 in your copy of Unlocking Favor with God and People. And tonight specifically, we're talking about the lifestyle of consecration. That is walking in sustained favor. Walking in sustained favor. That's what we're talking about tonight. I'm very excited about it because for many of us here, this will answer a lot of questions that we've been trying to answer in our own lives. Why does it look like I'm a part-time winner? Have you ever felt like that? You ever felt like your victory was part-time? Your success was part-time? Every now and then you get a breakthrough, and then you go back to the struggle, and then you get a little bit of favor, and then you go back to part-time. That's not meant to be the life of a believer. The path of a believer is supposed to shine ever brighter. It is supposed to shine ever brighter. So throughout my life, while I walk on earth, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. It gets better and better and better. So with that being said, I'm very excited to get into tonight's session because we are wrapping up the prayer and fasting series by speaking about this lifestyle of consecration. In other words, finding a way to live. Listen, finding a way to live in sustained favor. Sustained favor. I want you to put that in the comment section. Sustained favor. So we're gonna start off in Matthew chapter 6. We're reading verse 25 to 34. We've read this many times and you know this off by heart by now, I'm sure. So get your Bible, and once you have your Bible, say I do. And if you have a copy of Unlocking Favor with God and People, you can get that as well. If you have a copy of Unlocking Favor with God and People, you can get yourself a copy as well. Or rather, get your book. And then, by the way, here's what we're going to do tonight. Tonight, because we are celebrating our growth over here, I'm going to give you a coupon code for those of you who want to get themselves a copy on the website. I'm going to give you a coupon code to use. However, the coupon code will be determined by how many people we have in here. You see, right now we're at 1,100. So that's 11. That's 11%. Yeah, that's 11%. Yes, so 1.5, that's 15%. So that's what will determine that discount tonight. Anyway, but we'll get into that at the end. I don't want you to go anywhere right now. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 25 to 34, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? You of little faith. So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first. Right there in the comment section, say seek first. But seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. All these things will be given to you as well if you seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. What I want to talk to us about tonight is, of course, day 12 of our series, which speaks about the lifestyle of consecration, which the whole purpose of it is that we will speak about how we walk in sustained favor. How we walk in sustained favor. I want to remind you tonight, and I want you to believe this once and for all, that your life is not supposed to be a win some, lose some kind of life. There's something wrong. My life is not supposed to be a win every now and then kind of life. Something is wrong. It's not supposed to be a trial and error. It is not supposed to be a matter of trying to see if this time around God might answer my prayer. Maybe this time around things might work out. The life of a believer is meant to be a confident life. Listen to me, a confident life. One that is, I know that I know that I know. Wherever I go, whatever I do, I am not uncertain. I am not wondering. I am not unsure. I know my place in God. One that is not insecure about your relationship with God. Now, here's what I want you to know. I'm not talking about an easy life. There isn't such a thing as an easy life, right? It's not necessarily an easy life, but just because life is not easy doesn't mean that you cannot live an overcoming life. So whether it's easy or not, I don't even care. All I know is that my life is supposed to be, listen, the path I'm walking on is supposed to be shining ever brighter. Ever brighter. And it's unfortunate that for a lot of us, our lives can be full of detours and full of, potholes, and gotta stop so we can change 4 tires, and then we try again, and the next thing we gotta stop because there's smoke coming out of the engine, and then there's smoke coming out of the seats. I don't even know how you get smoke coming out of the seats. And then you gotta stop, and then you gotta try, and then we start moving, and as we start moving, the battery just falls out of the car, and we have to stop again so we can. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, my friend. And Jesus speaks to us about this lifestyle of chasing provision. He says your life is not meant to be a life of chasing provision, chasing the next meal, chasing the next pair of jeans, chasing, the clothes you ought to wear, and they don't have the discounts over here. I gotta go to that coat corner over there, and then I gotta go to Maraba Start, and then I gotta go to this, and they're just chasing to no end. So your life is more meaningful than that. Your life is more than that. It's more than chasing things. It's more than chasing provision. Many of us, we are living life as pagans, as Jesus put it. And if you want to take it up with him, you can, because he says, it's not me. He says pagans run after all these things. He says it's pagans who run after the next thing to eat. It's pagans who run after who run after the bag, It's pagans who live the hustle life. There's a difference. There's a difference, isn't there? You ever notice that hustlers tend to be hustlers for life? Always living with the fear that things are going to run out. Always living with the fear that they'll fall off and find themselves in the street. And it's this fear. It's this fear that's just nagging, because the person is not confident of God's provision in their life, not confident that my needs are met in him. Now, here, listen, I'm not saying to you that you don't take care of your business. Take care of your business. Or go to work. If you're on call right now, you gotta stay on call so that somebody here is like, good shot. Even I'm switching my phone off. No, don't do that. Don't do that. They'll fire you, and I don't have a job for you. But the point is, we don't work from a place of desperation, hoping that we can make ends meet. Jesus is calling us to a life beyond that. He's calling us to a life that is deeper than that is bigger than that. So you can't chase after these things all your life. These things cannot be your sole aim in life. Man, it would break my heart. It would break my heart to get to the end of my life and all I did was pay bills. If you ask me, I have nothing. I have nothing that fulfilled me. I lived an empty life, and all I did was just pay these bills, and all I did was just look for the next piece of bread, the next pair of pants to wear, and that's all I did my whole life. We are being called beyond that. We are being called to live a life that is greater than that. And so Jesus is calling us to a life of consecration. Very, very simply, when you talk about this idea of consecration is to consecrate something is to declare that thing sacred. It is to declare that thing sacred. Right? To declare something sacred. So when we talk about you being consecrated, your life being consecrated, we are talking about your life being declared sacred. What do I mean by this? You know your mother's Tupperware. Your mother's Tupperware that's not supposed to be used for anything else except the special occasions. You know the plates she had, which are not meant to be used for anything else except specific visitors, not just any visitors, specific visitors. Those are consecrated for a specific use. They're not just for anybody. They're not just for anything. They're not just for any day. You can't just use them all willy-nilly. And so the idea of a consecrated life is a life that is set apart for something specific, for a greater purpose than to just run around. Right? Than to have your faith split into all these things, your focus stolen by everything around you. It's supposed to be deeper than that. It's supposed to be bigger than that. A consecrated lifestyle. He says, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. My life is meant to be seeking the kingdom. And we're gonna get more into that. We're gonna get more into that tonight, and you'll understand better what we're talking about as we go along. So I want you to have a look at the day 12. We're on day 12 of Unlocking Favor with God and People. If you don't yet have a copy of Unlocking Favor with God and People, you absolutely need one. You absolutely need one. We're on day 12. Prayer and fasting were never meant to be an occasional event. Prayer and fasting were never meant to be an occasional event. Every now and then. It was never meant to be that. The beginning of the January. It was never meant to be a January thing. They were designed to be part of a consecrated lifestyle, a way of living that constantly places your spirit in the lead, your soul in alignment, and your body in submission. Let me say this again. They were designed to be part of a consecrated lifestyle. Here's what it looks like. A way of living that constantly, not just every now and then, not just when you need breakthrough, not just when you need a prayer answered, constantly. Network. Whose network? Not mine. Never mine. Never mind. Can everybody just give me a network score? I just want to make sure that we're good. I just want to make sure we're good. Please give me a network score. Out of 10. Out of 10. How's the network? Out of 10. 10. Okay. 5. Solid 3 at your house. 95. You see? There we go. All good. 10. Okay, we're good. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, prayer and fasting were designed to be part of a consecrated lifestyle. Right there in the comment section, say lifestyle. Lifestyle, lifestyle. A way of living that constantly places your spirit in the lead, your soul in alignment, and your body in submission. We spoke about this in the beginning of the prayer and fasting series. I told you that you are spirit, soul, and body. Spirit, soul, and body. That's how the human being was created. Your spirit is the part of you that communes with God. Your spirit is the part of you that communes with the Holy Spirit of God. You don't talk to God face to face, right? You don't listen. I know it feels like it feels like, you know, he's giving you a hug, and I'm not against that. It's fine. If he's giving you a hug, it's cool. Like, let him give you a hug. But if one day while you are praying, you feel the hug physically, that's a perpetrator. You hear what I'm saying? You are by yourself praying and you get a hug. That's a perpetrator. Don't, because God is spirit, and we commune with him through our spirit. And it is our spirit that gives direction to the body to say, this is how we live. This is how we move. This is how we obey. This is the way in which we go. The body, on the other hand, the flesh, I told you this, that is how you have communion with the world around you. It's how you have communion with the world around you. You touch the physical things, you see the physical things, you hear what's going on. And when that influences you, when that influences everything that's on the outside, it is dangerous, because you oftentimes are forced to hear and see things that you do not prefer to hear and see. And so when you sit down with the doctor and the doctor gives you a bad report, you have to go you have to go to the secret place and hear what the Spirit of God is telling you about that very same report. So the doctor says, yo. And when you allow the Spirit to speak, when you allow the Spirit to lead, it says, I will live and I will not die. And I live by that. I live by that. I live by that. I walk in that until I see it in reality. Right? So that is what fasting is supposed to do. That is what fasting is supposed to be for us. Prayer and fasting, rather. That lifestyle is supposed to keep that alignment at all times. This is the posture that attracts favor. This is the posture that attracts favor. Not just once, but continually. And my friend, this is the most important day that we in the past series that we just did. Listen, not just once, but continually. Day after day, season after season, right? Season after season. We want to be like the psalmist says in the first psalm. I want you to look at Psalm chapter 1. We're going to insert the Psalm chapter 1 over here. In Psalm chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 3. Verse 1 to verse 3 says, Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. Day and night. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. Whatever they do prospers. My friend, do you know that human beings are the only ones who don't live like this? Do you know that human beings are the only ones who do not live this way? Listen, let me put it to you this way. All it takes is for your orange tree, for your mango tree to not give you fruit 1 year, and you know there's something wrong. You know there's something wrong. It's winter now. Where are the narchis? Where are they? I demand to see some narchis. I've been giving you water. I've been taking care of you. Where are the oranges? It's almost July. It's winter. Right? And when you don't see fruit, you know that something is wrong. Do you know that most believers don't think of their lives in that way? Most of us don't think of our lives that way. We go season after season without seeing results, and we're okay with that. We're okay with that. We say, yeah, it happens. I'm trying. No. Where are the fruits? It's December. Where's the mangoes? Don't make me angry. I want my guava. Right? You're taking up space right now. You remember when Jesus shows up to a fig tree that didn't have fruits, that didn't bear any fruits? You know what he does? He says, may no one ever eat off of you again. It withers immediately. Withers immediately. You don't want to be around here breathing the oxygen, taking nutrients, just feeding. Where are the fruits? We understand this. On some level, many of us, we understand this, my friend. We know that it is unnatural to not bear fruit. It is unnatural. And some of us here tonight have to come to a place where we realize how unnatural it is, where we just accept it, where we admit it, where we look at our own lives, we look in the mirror and we say, this is not right, this is not normal. I'm done with the excuses. It's not normal. All I have to do is I'm just always sweeping leaves. Every year I'm sweeping leaves. Leaves. Just making the yard dirty. No fruit whatsoever. It's gotta go. And so here's what I'm saying. Listen, this is the posture that attracts favor, not just once, but continually. Continually, as you should. Continually, as your life should be. That period of prayer and fasting, along with your church community at the start of the year, is great, but you need to go deeper than that. Let me say that again. Listen. That period of fasting, or of prayer and fasting along with your church community at the start of the year is great, but you need to go deeper than that. Right? We've spoken about prayer and fasting as a lifestyle, making sure that habitually it is there, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly, whether it's bi-weekly, they're just making sure that it is there. For somebody, at the very least, it could be quarterly. To say that at every turn of a quarter, I have to go into a time of prayer and fasting. I have to give myself those 7 days just to set myself apart. Intentionally so. And then I also told you about it as a response. Meaning that when hard times come, when trouble comes, I don't run around like a headless chicken. I immediately go to prayer and fasting. I immediately push the plate back and I say, God, I need to hear you right now. I need to hear you right now. Here comes trouble. So it ought to be a lifestyle and it ought to be a response. Your response cannot be more eating. When you are stressed out, you must stress your body because... You hear what I'm saying? No. It ought to be a lifestyle. If that becomes a lifestyle, my friend, victory will become a lifestyle. Page 88, we're on page 88 now. When you make consecration your normal, right there in the comment section say normal. When you make consecration your normal, you begin to walk in a realm where answers chase you, doors open to you, and people respond to you without needing you to explain why. Without needing you to explain why, people respond to you. Doors open. Answers chase you. They find you where you are. You become a magnet for favor. You become a magnet for favor. Consecration isn't about being weird or isolating yourself from the world. It's about being set apart in the way you think, speak, act, and seek God. Consecration, it's not about you being weird and you just saying, sorry guys, I can't come to work for the next 6 weeks because I've got to go and fast, but please wait for me, save my job. You will be fired. You'll be fired. If that's what you plan on doing, that's fine if you want to be fired, but don't do that. But it's rather about being set apart. Right? It is about being set apart in the way that you think, in the way that you speak, in the way that you act, and in the way that you seek God. It's a rhythm of life that keeps your heart tender, your ears open, and your spirit alert. My friend, this cannot just be a matter of emergency. can't always be emergency. We want to fall into a rhythm. We want that in the same way that your heart is beating in rhythm right now. We just want that boom, 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 over and over again, over and over again. Just keeping this rhythm. Can I tell you something? There's over 1,000 of you in here. If you will be a part of this community throughout the year, I do not expect any of you who are a part of this family here. I don't expect any of you to be trying to go back in January. In January, you shouldn't be thinking about, wait, back in the day, now I was a warrior. Back in the day, I was, you must ask Sister Gertrude about me, Shem. When I got to the hospital, we used to pray and pray and pray all night. That's not meant to be your life. If the Lord is willing and we are still here, when we step into the new year, what I expect for all of us is that we should be excited for new dimensions. We should be excited for dimensions we have never reached before. But unfortunately for many of us, because we do not live this as a lifestyle, what ends up happening is that life gets a little challenging, life gets a little hard, and then we let go. And then in January, that's when we come and this year you must check me in May, check me in April, check me. And then we start all over again. We start the process once again. In January, we're always trying to get back to where we were. We have this nostalgic walk of faith. And I'll tell you right now that in your walk of faith, and in most areas of our lives in general, nostalgia can be the enemy of progress. Nostalgia can be the enemy of progress. Since I moved here, I've been so dead spiritually because I just miss back home. They don't have us group in church. So and back at home, man, there was that vibe, there was that thing. And we just stay stuck. We stay stuck. Because we're always trying to go back to the Red Sea. The Red Sea is the most amazing thing we've ever seen in our lives. The Red Sea is the highest point of our lives. And the Red Sea was 4 years ago, 10 years ago. And he says, remember the Red Sea? Only look back at that to remember who I am and remember what I can do. But as for dwelling in that, don't dwell thee. Don't live thee. He says, forget all that. He says, forget all of that. For I am doing a new thing. You hear what I'm saying? It's meant to be a lifestyle. We're meant to grow from glory to glory, from strength to strength. And I can tell you this right now, if you make that commitment, I say this as God is my witness. I will continue to show up here and serve you in a way that we will all grow together. We will all continue to testify. And listen to me, the last testimony that you remember is not the greatest one of your life. The next one is the greatest one. The next breakthrough that God is bringing is the greatest one. That is the greatest breakthrough. I want you to believe that. I want you to walk in that. I want you to get excited about that. That the greatest breakthrough of my life, that the greatest thing that God has done, will do in my life, is what I'm about to see. It's what I'm about to see. It's not back when he did, back then. That's dangerous. Nostalgia is an enemy of progress. You become a carrier. We're back in page 88. You become a carrier of divine atmosphere. People feel peace around you. They feel conviction. They feel drawn to you. That's not charisma. That's consecration. That is not just you know, I'm really that guy. No. That is consecration. There are certain people, listen to me, there are certain people that when you're around them, it's undeniable. It is undeniable. There are certain places that you will walk into and they just can't be the same around you. If anything, they'll start avoiding you because there is something about you as a lifestyle that you carry. You hear what I'm saying? You just carry it with you. It's not even that they're afraid of you. It's just that, man, when she walks in, boys get it together. They start to act right. And that time she's not even big. She's like this tall. Like 2 liters if you stack them together. She's like that. But for some reason there is something heavy about that presence. There is something that we just can't figure out. Man, whatever that is, it's profound. Yeah, it's profound. Listen, you become a carrier of divine atmosphere. People feel peace around you. They feel conviction. They feel drawn to you. That's not charisma. That's consecration. 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 9. 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 9. In the NLT it says, "The eyes of the Lord search the whole earth in order to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him." Let me say that again. And I want you to note this. I want you to highlight this somewhere. Listen, the eyes of the Lord search the whole earth in order to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. Is your heart fully committed to him? Is your heart fully committed to seeking first the kingdom and his righteousness and trusting that all these other things he will add to your life? In page 89, here's an example from Acts chapter 10. An example from Acts chapter 10 of Cornelius. Cornelius wasn't a Jew. He wasn't an apostle. He was a Roman centurion, a military man. But he lived a lifestyle of prayer, generosity, and fasting. What happened? God sent an angel to his house with a message. In Acts chapter 10, verse 4, in verse 4 it says, "Your prayers and gifts to the poor have come up as a memorial offering before God." Listen, not just a once-off kind of thing. Listen, your prayers and gifts to the poor have come up as a memorial offering before God. This lifestyle that you have been living, it has spoken on your behalf. It has went before you. It has reached dimensions that you never have reached before. Cornelius didn't chase favor. Favor found him. Cornelius didn't chase favor. Favor found him. And we find this in so many different examples. You remember the Shunammite woman who wasn't even asking for a child. She wasn't even asking for a miracle. She wasn't asking for that. All she wanted was just to give. All she wanted was to serve. All she wanted was to be generous. And the man of God says, there must be something that we can do for you. After everything you've done for us, there must be something we can do for you. And the man of God and his servants have a little meeting to say, what can we do for her? Right? Elijah says, do you need me to put in a word for you with the king? He says, no, I'm okay. Okay, what about the army? I know the commander of the army. I can put in a good word for you with the commander of the army. No, I'm okay. I don't need anything. And the servant says, well, she doesn't have a child. And he says, wonderful. This time next year, you will hold a child in your hands. So there was something that was missing in her life, but she did not have to go searching for it. She did not have to go chasing after it. It just came in response to her service. It came in response to the way that she was living. You remember Mary, the mother of Jesus, who was just living her life. She was engaged. She was looking forward to just being a wife one day soon. And when the angel shows up to her, says, Mary, you are highly favored of the Lord. You are highly favored of the Lord. And she would be the vessel through which the Messiah comes into the earth. That's not something that she was chasing after. That's not something that she was running after. Do you hear what I'm saying? We see this in so many different instances. We see this with who's the short guy? Who's the short guy? Cortes. You'll put his name there. But we see him looking at a crowd and struggling to see Jesus, and he decides to climb up on a tree. Zacchaeus, thank you very much. He decides to climb up on a tree. He says, I just want to get a better look. Jesus shows up when he gets to where he is. He says, come down, I'm going to your house today. Sits down at his house. And in the presence of Jesus, without being asked to do anything, he gets up and he says, Lord, look, here and now. Turning everything around. Says, if I owe anybody, I will pay them back 4 times what I stole from them. If there is anybody that I've stolen anything from, I will pay them back 4 times what I stole. I'm changing everything today. This is where it changes for me. And you know what happens? Jesus then responds by saying, salvation has come to your house today. Salvation has come to your house today. I'm saying this to explain to us that favor is not something that we ought to be reaching for. We ought to be falling into alignment. We ought to be living a consecrated lifestyle so that this favor flows into our lives. It just flows in. You hear what I'm saying? It just flows. Listen, it doesn't even matter what's going on. It doesn't matter where we're. It just flows. Everywhere I go, it just finds me where I am. Listen to me. There are people who have so cultivated that kind of lifestyle that wherever you place them on the earth, they will always have somebody run after them just to serve them. Just to make sure that everything is okay with them. They just want to be a part of that. You hear what I'm saying? So I've told you, favor is not something that we shout so that it comes down. No, I'm not against your praying, but I'm just saying that we don't chase after it. We don't have to climb up to the mountain to try to find it, go to the ocean so we can try to find it. It's in alignment. It is in that lifestyle of consecration. It's in that lifestyle. Because of his lifestyle, God chose his home as the gateway through which the Gentiles and non-Jews would first receive the Holy Spirit. Think about that. His private consecration positioned him for public significance. Another example was Queen Esther. Queen Esther is another great example. We often talk about Esther's beauty, but it was her discernment and fasting that unlocked national favor. Well, she was a beautiful woman, it's fine. But it was her discernment and fasting that unlocked national favor for so many people. Before approaching the king, she declared a fast for herself and all the Jews in Susa. That's in Esther chapter 4, verse 15 and verse 16, you'll see that. She laid down her title, her position, and even her life. That moment of consecration shifted an entire nation's destiny. It shifted an entire nation's destiny. When she went before the king, he extended his gold scepter and said, in Esther chapter 5, verse 3, here's what it says. What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given you. Listen, the king looks at her and says, my queen, what's the issue? What do you want? Just ask. Even if it's half the kingdom, I'll give you everything up to half of this kingdom. It's yours. What do you want? There is a blank check. And she goes on to make her request, and her request goes on to lead to the salvation of many, the saving of a nation. But it was from that moment of consecration. It was from that moment of choosing to be set apart. Just choosing to say, listen, this is an amazing queen. She says, send word back and tell everybody to stop eating now. Tell everybody to stop eating now. Tell them to fast and to pray. There is a matter I need to take to the king. Right? That is favor. That is favor. Here's the key. Make it a lifestyle, not just a lifeline. And I want you to write this somewhere, right? I want you to write this somewhere. Make it a lifestyle, not just a lifeline. A lifeline is something that you use when you're in trouble, when you're about to drown. A lifeline is what's thrown to you every time you're about to drown. I'll put it to you this way. I know what it's like to need a lifeline at the end of every month. You ever needed a lifeline at the end of every month? At the end of every hey, just okay, 300. I just wanna, I've got you. In a few days, I've got you. At the end of every month, just need somebody to save you. At the end of every month, every now and always needing a lifeline, always needing rescue. So consecration shouldn't just be a lifeline; it should be a lifestyle. And you know what it's like. You listen. You know what it's like when you end up in the worst of trouble. And Lord, if you go, Lord, God, I will attend Bible study every day. God, I will even buy the book. God, I will buy the book. If you just save me this time, I will buy the book for 5 people. God, I will bless other people with the book. God, just this one time. You see, God, I'm even changing. You see. That's what we do. That's what happens, right? So it ought to not be a lifeline. It should be a lifestyle. This is how I live. This is how I live. Doesn't matter what's going on. I live this way. Oh, do you want coffee? Nah, I can't have coffee right now. Why? I can't wait. Are you fasting again? Why? Is there something happening? No, I'm a follower of Christ. Christ fasted and prayed. This is how Jesus lived. So, I gotta live that way too. This is what I do. Right? It's not even a pompous thing. It's just this is my lifestyle. Too many people turn to prayer and fasting as a last resort, like a spiritual SOS. But those who walk in sustained favor are those who make prayer and fasting a rhythm, not a reaction. Let me say that again. Those who walk in sustained favor are those who make prayer and fasting a rhythm, not a reaction. It can't always be it can't always be how I react. When times are hard, when I'm going through the most, that's how I react. That's how I react. Prayer is a reaction. Listen, I'm guilty. I've been there before. I know what it's like to fall into the trap of just having prayer as a reaction. When I'm going through the most, oh man, I remember to pray. I remember to pray. Right? And if you're listening to this tonight and you say, that's me, this is the moment when everything wants to change. To make that commitment to say it will be a lifestyle. I'm not just going to use prayer as a way to react when my life is on fire. No. You don't fast only when things go wrong. You fast to stay aligned. You don't pray only when you're in need. You pray because it's the fuel of your spirit. You don't only pray when you're in need. You don't only fast when things go wrong. It's a habit. It's a part of my lifestyle. It's what I do. And here's the truth. Favor will follow those who follow God's rhythm. Favor will follow those who follow God's rhythm. Here's a practical application. Because for some of us, we might be wondering, so what does this mean? What's the next thing? And I want this to be very practical for you, right? I want this to be practical for you. So, what does a lifestyle of prayer and fasting actually look like? What does it actually look like? So, if you are there, if you are listening and you are trying to figure this out, very simple things. I'm not going to tell you anything you haven't heard before. So number one, daily prayer time. Not just in emergencies, but as a sacred appointment. Daily prayer time. Not just in emergencies, but as a sacred appointment. Number two, regular fasting rhythms. Regular fasting rhythms. Maybe one day a week or a few days each month, as led by the Spirit. But it has to be in there. It has to be right there on your calendar. It has to be top of mind. You have to know when your next fasting time will be. You have to know. Right there where you are, you need to know. You first of all, you need to know when your dedicated prayer time will be tomorrow, and then you need to know when your next fasting period will be. Number three, a heart posture of surrender. A heart posture of surrender. Fasting not to get God to move, but to stay moved by Him. Not to get God to move, but to stay moved by Him. So I'm not fasting for miracles. I'm not fasting for gifts. I'm not fasting to say, God, let me see what you got in store for me. Shapa something, shapa something. Let's see. No. I just wanna stay in alignment. That's why I submit myself again. That's why I'm here again, God. That's why this is a part of my lifestyle. That's why this is how I live. Right? So, a heart posture of surrender. Fasting not to get God to move, but to stay moved by Him. Number 4, feeding your spirit. Feeding your spirit. feeding your spirit, prioritizing time in the Word more than time online. Good for you, you are doing both at the same time right now. But feeding your spirit, prioritizing time in the Word more than time online, more than time in other things, right? More than other things that seek to feed you. And finally, consistent obedience. Consistent obedience. Responding to promptings, forgiving quickly, giving generously. And sometimes for some of us, there is this thing that we can't shake off. God is saying, do this, do this, do this, do this. You need to forgive him. You need to forgive him. I will never do such a thing. Oh, my Lord. And until you stop hearing the voice, until you stop getting that nudging. All of a sudden, you don't get that nudging anymore. And then we say, it's been so long since I heard God. We say, why God doesn't speak to me? It's been long since I hear him. Mother God, why don't you? I was like, well, I'm trying to do something with you. You don't want to do. Yeah, I try to do. You don't want to do. So what must happen? So, consistent obedience, responding to promptings, forgiving quickly, not just when they apologize, forgiving quickly for your good, right? Giving generously, and the list goes on and on. But just consistent obedience. When this becomes your way of life, favor becomes a side effect. When this becomes your way of life, favor becomes a side effect. It just happens. Man, it just happens. I don't even know. It just happens. Right? Here are some supporting scriptures for you to go meditate on and read by yourself as well. Matthew chapter 5 verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Psalm 91 verse 1. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Who dwells there, who lives there. Right? James chapter 4 verse 8. James chapter 4 verse 8. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Let me put it to you like this, and then I'm going to give you your reflection questions for today's session. But let me put it to you like this. Please excuse me for the time. I just noticed what time it is. You've had a time when things were going wrong, and then you prayed, you fasted, and God did it, right? God did it. He answered the prayer, came through. Imagine if that was your lifestyle. Just imagine if that wasn't just reserved for when there's fire, but if that was my lifestyle, if that was just how I live. I can get over that. I can get over that. Listen, you remember the Israelites when they came out of Egypt. There was a season when they had to have manna. They were provided for through manna. And then they had to graduate from that for them to go into the promised land. in the promised land, there would be sowing and reaping. And so there are seasons to this. There are seasons. There is a shift that has to take place. And for some of us, we've become so accustomed to when I'm in trouble, I pray and God answers. Always when I'm in trouble. When I'm in trouble, this always works for me. And that becomes the lifestyle. The lifestyle is the only way for me to see God is for me to be in trouble. The only way for me to get a miracle is for me to be in trouble. The only way for me to earnestly pray is for me to be in trouble. No wonder you're always in trouble. No wonder your heart is always broken, because the only time is now my God will always show up when I'm brokenhearted. I'm not saying that he won't. But if that's the only time that the only time, come on now. Come on. Lifestyle. It ought to be a lifestyle. I am not satisfied with just an occasional revelation of God. I am not satisfied with just an occasional miracle. Every now and then a little bit of favor. Every now and then a little bit of favor just to make it through. It ought to be a lifestyle, not just a lifeline, my friend. So here are some reflection questions for you before you get into this, and a challenge for us to end off our prayer and fasting series. Has this been helping anybody? Number one, what would it look like for me to make consecration part of my daily rhythm? What would it look like for me to make consecration part of my daily rhythm? I mean every day. Day after day after day after day. What would that look like? What would it look like? And you can go back to what we spoke about, the practical application. Is it implementing a daily prayer time? Is it implementing regular fasting rhythms? Is it a heart posture of surrender where you don't try to fast so that you can move God, but rather you genuinely start longing for intimacy with God. You genuinely just desire the presence of God more than you desire a miracle, more than you desire breakthrough. Is it feeding your spirit, prioritizing Bible study time, right? Your own personal one. Is it consistent obedience? Just minding some areas of my life where I haven't been as consistent in obeying, where there's always a nudge and I just ignore it. Something to think about. Number two. Here's the second reflection question. In what ways have I treated fasting as an emergency tool instead of a lifestyle? In what ways have I treated fasting? And over there, some of us can add prayer, right? In what ways have I treated prayer and fasting as an emergency tool instead of a lifestyle? And number three, how can I invite God to help me cultivate a deeper hunger for Him? Right? How can I invite God to help me cultivate a deeper hunger for Him? A deeper longing for Him. Just more. And then here's a final challenge for you in this prayer and fasting series. This week, and this week meaning, into the new week, ask the Lord to reveal a new rhythm of consecration that fits your season. Specifically, that one that fits your season. It may be a weekly fast, maybe early morning prayer walks, or consistent time in the Word. Those are not the only options. Let us say, ask the Lord to reveal it to you. One of the things that was revealed to me was the prayer walks that for a season I had to take without compromise. I had to wake up in the morning and take these walks. At the end of the day, they take these walks, and it was my thing. It's not something that I would make into a religion for all of us. That was my thing, right? And for another season, it was just waking up early in the morning before doing anything else. I would have to spare an extra hour just to spend time in the Word, right? So let me repeat this again. This week, ask the Lord to reveal a new rhythm of consecration that fits your season, right? That one that fits your season. It may be a weekly fast, early morning prayer walks, or consistent time in the Word. And you can add more things over thee, right? It may be any of a number of things that you feel led to just implement in your. Somebody here might say, you know what, I need to do my 12 a.m. prayers again. That's fine. I don't pray 12 a.m. It's late. I sleep. And somebody might say, that's when the witches are up and busy. That's fine. I'm not a witch. Why am I up and busy? I'm not against. I'm kidding. Listen, if that's what you think needs to be done in this season, then do it. Do it. Just set that in place for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Commit to it, not out of pressure, but out of hunger. Let me say it again. Commit to that time, not out of pressure, but out of hunger. Hunger for the presence of God. Hunger for that intimacy with God. Not because this hunger that says, man, I cannot wait. Now I cannot wait. I am longing for that intimacy with God. I am longing for a deeper revelation of God. I am longing. I want more. That is it. Right? Now you wake up and pray at midnight and we must feel sorry for you. Oh no, you guys don't know what it's like to wake up and pray at midnight. Hey, but home. We didn't tell you to do that. Why does this sound like it's a drag to you? Why does this sound like you hate what you're doing? You have free will. You don't have to do that. If you hate it so much, you don't have to do it. Right? Favor is not chased, it is attracted. And those who walk in sustained favor are not the most talented, they are the most surrendered. Those who walk in sustained favor are not the most talented, they are the most surrendered. So they are the most yielded to God. And if you think it's the most talented, it will frustrate you. It will eat you up when you see people who are less talented, or rather less talented, who are not as good as you. You see them just, right? This concludes the 7-day series on the power of prayer and fasting. Keep walking in alignment. keep your spirit in the lead. Favor will follow. Favor will follow, my friend. This is good. This is good. We're not shouting down for favor to come. We're not trying to get him. God, are you even listening? No. We are yielded. We are yielded. God, I surrender. I surrender. Just, I don't want a 911 Christianity, okay, 10,111 Christianity anymore, right? I don't want that. I don't want the kind of Christianity where we get it right and then we get it wrong and then we get it right and then we get it wrong and then we get it and then, oh man, I'm only human. You were walking with Jesus in person, he would have said long time ago, how long should I put up with you? Do you still not believe? Do you still not get it? Don't let the flesh lead you, my friend. It's nothing good there. Don't allow the flesh to lead the charge. There is nothing there. It's not for you. Hey, it's not for you now. So, may God help us. May God help us.